Hello, my name is Joanna Scheffer from IQPC. I'm joined by Mr. John Favaro from Intex, and we'll be talking about the ISO standard, ISO 26262. And first of all, thank you, welcome here, and thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
So could you perhaps just explain a little bit about yourself, your role at Intex and the company maybe?
Yes, I'm a senior consultant there responsible for training and functional safety.
Thank you. So what would you say concerning the standard itself? What would be its what would the introduction of the standard mean for the overall industry, in your opinion?
Well, the standard has been an important step in introducing a harmonized and well-known state-of-the-art. Up until this point, there was nothing. Everybody went his own way, and there was no commonly recognized state of the practice, which will also be important for legal issues later on.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think are maybe a couple of the key challenges of the standard? What have you perceived so far?
Well, one of the key challenges that are going on right now is that the standard is being introduced into a community that has been doing development for decades. Mm-hmm. And there are many projects that have already been carried out which now need to be harmonized with the standard. And so people are finding that they actually have to reverse engineer, so to speak, things that they have already done to make them conform to the standard. Furthermore, many people, many companies have found that they do not have any kind of safety processes in place. And what they're discovering is that the hardest step is actually going from nothing to something.
Okay, that sounds very complicated indeed, and with such a complex standard to implement, I can imagine this would not only be time-consuming, but also quite costly. What is your view on this? Can there be anything done to reduce costs, or what would be an effective method, perhaps?
Many of the talks we heard today were all about how to find ways to efficiently implement the processes and the techniques in the standard. And therefore, I think that some of the themes that we will be addressing over the next couple of years will be exactly how to do efficient implementation of the standard.
And do you perhaps have a first idea of how this could be done, a certain method perhaps, or a general view on this?
No, some of the things we saw today, there are a couple of areas in which they are trying to concentrate many of the efforts. One is in using model-based approaches as much as possible, and we heard a few things about that today. Another is in doing as efficiently as possible the safety analyses, such as fault tree analyses and other kinds of very advanced techniques. By making them very efficient, you can squeeze the cost very much.
So how has your experience at this conference been so far? Meeting people that have the common problem of trying to implement the standard, meeting different people from different companies and industries. What has your experience been so far here?
It has been very important to talk with these people who are all trying to interpret the standard and implement it. What has come out as a common theme of these shared experiences is that this is a standard for adults. It is a standard that gives you much freedom, but also requires much responsibility for you in implementing functional safety.
What would be an example for how it gives you much freedom?
It gives you as much freedom as you might like in, for example, choosing your architecture. Although it tells you in general terms that you must implement a safety architecture, they don't really tell you which one to implement, whereas other standards do. They assume that you are responsible enough to choose the right one. That will be cost effective. So
this makes the matter actually more complicated than it needs to, or than it usually might is.
It is a responsibility that the automotive industry willingly took upon itself in order to have the freedom, in order to have control over its cost, which is a very important issue in the automotive industry. So they took upon themselves this responsibility willingly. Okay,
what do you think will the introduction of the ISO standard have on other functional safety standards perhaps? Is there a way in that this approach will change other functional safety approaches?
It might. I don't know for sure, but it is true that this standard has introduced new innovations that were not in the other standards. Somebody said today during the conference that the standard is as much a conjecture as anything else, and people are not sure how it will work out. If things work out well that were done in this standard, then I think we could very well find that they will be introduced into the other standards.
And how's your general experience at this conference been so far? How what have you liked? What have you not liked?
I think it has been a great experience. I think there's a very, very good group of people here. And so far I haven't found anything I haven't liked.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Favaro. Thank you.